Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm City Council President Todd Gloria. I'm here today with my colleague and the longest-serving member of our City Council, Kevin Faulkner. Unlike what we have all seen and heard on this concourse in the past 12 days, we're here to reassure San Diegans. While a shroud of shame hangs over the mayor's office, the City Council and our city employees are here working for you. The City Council has not, and we will not, lose focus on our purpose here at City Hall. As your council president, I am proud of the progress the City Council has made on behalf of the people we represent, and I'm eager to continue down our very long list of to-do items. Councilmember Faulkner will now share some of the council's recent accomplishments and some other comments.
Thank you, Council President Gloria. A bipartisan supermajority of the City Council, including Council President Gloria and myself, has called on Mayor Filner to resign so the cloud of uncertainty he has created can be lifted from San Diego. Unfortunately, the mayor has decided that his own ego is more important than the reputation of our city, leaving San Diegans to wonder if anything can be accomplished at City Hall under his leadership. As the council president and the senior member of the City Council, we're here to reassure San Diegans that the people's business will be done at City Hall. While Mayor Filner focuses on fighting to defend his inexcusable actions, there are 9 council members representing every city neighborhood, fighting for the best interests of San Diego residents, businesses, and families. Potholes will be filled, trash and recyclables will be collected, and 911 calls will be answered. The City Council has the authority to hold the mayor's staff and city bureaucracy accountable to ensure that these and other neighborhood services are delivered. The city charter gives the City Council several broad authorities, including it requires the mayor to cooperate fully with the council, including supplying information regarding the fiscal condition of the city. Individual members of the City Council have the authority to work directly with the mayor's designees to ensure city business is carried out. And the City Council may summon any city official or department head to appear before the full council or committee to provide information and to answer questions. And the City Council can also introduce legislation. This year alone, the City Council and its committees approved a policy to use suggestions from San Diegans to prioritize the city's nearly $1 billion backlog of street and infrastructure repairs, wrote and passed an ordinance to improve neighborhood parking and traffic safety, and signed off on 24 independent audits to promote government transparency and improve the performance of city departments. This is not to say that San Diego will not be affected by a mayor who has lost his ability to effectively govern. With Mayor Filner at the helm, San Diego is without a credible citywide leader. And it's unfortunate because we need a mayor who will get a phone call returned when we're competing for funds or from Washington or Sacramento. We need a mayor who can convince companies that want to invest and create jobs in San Diego that City Hall is a stable place to do business. We do not have that mayor today, but we do have a City Council leadership that is dedicated to working together in a bipartisan fashion to ensure that the business of San Diegans and the business of our neighborhoods gets done. Let me just say that San Diego has seen dark days like this before. I have been there to help our city recover from the political and financial scandals of the last decade. We've done it before. We have the City Council leadership committed to fixing San Diego again and delivering results for San Diegans. In fact, as we passed out on the information, San Diegans can visit apps.sandiego.gov/citizen services to find contact information for street repair, business licenses, water bills, and other city services. And more phone numbers are also included on the release. We will get through this. We've done it before, and we will do it again. I will now turn it back over to Council President Gloria.
Thank you, Kevin. Using the tools that Kevin mentioned, I expect the council to continue our work on a number of initiatives in the coming weeks. We will develop a retention program for our police officers and start exploring retention issues impacting the fire rescue department. Working with the Red Cross, the council will begin work to address the disaster response planning in advance of what may be a particularly tough fire season. Our Infrastructure Committee, led by Councilmember Mark Kersey, will bring forward new ideas to repair our neighborhoods, including revisiting our outdated sidewalk maintenance policy. After more than a year of work, Council President Pro Tem Sherry Leitner's water policy, which promises to increase water security for San Diego, will be reviewed by the City Council, and a new water rate structure that incentivizes conservation and led by Councilmember David Alvarez should come to Council this fall. Now, I'll spare you all the long list, but I want the public to know that the Council will do all that we can. But I also want to be clear. We cannot efficiently and effectively run America's finest city with this mayor in office. Any progress made in the coming weeks and months will be done not because of him, but in spite of him. I repeat my request and echoed by a supermajority of the City Council, and ask Mayor Filner to end this civic nightmare by resigning and allow us all to move on. Finally, last week, I asked the interim chief operating officer to take steps to protect city employees and to minimize liability for taxpayers. I'm pleased to report that those actions I requested were, in fact, implemented. I continue to encourage any employee who has been subjected to harassment to come forward, confident in the knowledge that many of us support you and that we will do our best to protect you. Going forward, the City Council will continue to play a proactive role in resolving a variety of open issues with the mayor's office. As the chair of the Audit Committee, Councilmember Faulkner has already begun to review the costs associated with the mayor's recent trip to Paris. I have asked Councilmembers Lori Zaff, the chair of our Land Use and Housing Committee, to undertake a review of actions by the Development Services Department in light of accusations of improprieties involving development permits. And finally, starting last week and continuing tomorrow, I expect the Council to vigorously examine the mayor's actions relative to the Pension Board, specifically the failure of the mayor's representative to attend and vote at a key meeting resulting in a $25 million increase in our pension bill, and his subsequent veto of his own appointees to the Pension Board. These are tough times for our city. As the Council President, I promise the people of San Diego that we will get through this. Your Council will be working hard on your behalf. Of course, the true remedy will come when the mayor resigns. Thank you, and we're happy to take a few questions.
With all due respect, the mayor says the business of the city is getting done. I appointed a respected administrator, Walt Eckert, to be the CEO, day-to-day operations. I'm taking care of policy. That's what I'm working on, and I am now back attending public events. Business as usual at City Hall, and I'm in charge.
Let me be clear. The hiring of an interim chief operating officer was a positive step. Walt Eckert is a true professional. We do not have a staff problem at the city. We have a mayor problem at the city. The hiring of Walt Eckert does not solve our problem. The problem continues.
Why doesn't it?
Could you go into a bit more detail, give us examples of just how, given the sexual harassment scandal, how does that make your job, the job of the council, harder?
Well, as we've seen, we have a mayor now that has lost credibility not only here in the city of San Diego, but unfortunately nationwide. And as we are working together as a city, particularly trying to attract businesses, to grow our economy, to grow jobs, it's almost impossible for people to have confidence in this mayor and this bureaucracy that the rules will be followed, that business will happen, and that things will get done. That's the unfortunate byproduct of what we've seen over these last several weeks and months. And I will concur, as Todd had just mentioned, we don't have a staff problem. We have a leadership problem in the city of San Diego, and we've had one for quite some time.
Is there going to be an August break given this scandal, City Council?
The council is meeting today. It'll meet next week. We are scheduled to have a legislative recess in August, but it's my expectation to call a special meeting of the City Council at any time in August as the council's work is necessary. Because of the leadership vacuum from the mayor's office, we're going to have to step up and fill that void. And what I'm trying to say is that we will do our level best, but with this mayor in office, we can't do everything. It is a strong mayor, strong council form of government. We need both branches working effectively. I can commit to the people that the council, the legislative branch, will work well. The mayor's office, that's another story.
Todd, in terms of creating jobs, in terms of Washington grants, in terms of getting these money that we're competing with, you say that he's lost credibility both nationally and internationally. How does that directly impact the city?
It impacts us directly. For the mayor, how's the mayor going to get actions done in Washington? people do not return his calls? How's the mayor going to get action done in Sacramento, where our local delegation has said, Mayor Filner, you need to resign? Those are very real issues that are affecting all of us in the city of San Diego. Once again, we have seen bipartisan calls for his resignation. We've also seen bipartisan support for we're going to push as hard as we can to get this city moving during this crisis. But Ed, but make no mistake, the solution to this is for the mayor to put what's in the best interest of San Diegans first and step down.
What are the things that you're going to do to fill the void? Are you guys going to go make members of the council going to go to Sacramento or Washington or?
Well, it's a great question. You know, one of the things that I've had a disagreement with the mayor on is his firing of our city lobbyists. We have not had representation in either Sacramento or in Washington, D.C. During his time in office. So tomorrow you'll see the city council take up a series of resolutions to support pieces of state legislation that the city must weigh in on. These are on issues about job creation, economic development, and affordable housing and homelessness. Without the mayor's hiring of lobbyists, we have to find another way to communicate the city's will. The council's actions tomorrow will show that we will continue to make our voices heard in the way that we did with the Miramar Air Show resolution, and you've seen with immigration reform resolution. What the mayor can't do, the council can make up for, but we can't do that for everything. Liam.
You mentioned you have the ability to call city officials before the council to answer questions. Is there any thought about asking the mayor to come before council to answer sexual harassment allegations?
I haven't given any thought to that, but I will tell you that tomorrow I'm issuing a memo today to the mayor's appointments secretary to have her explain the veto of the pension board appointees. I think we may do something similar with the Balboa Park traffic management plan and also our CFO relative to his actions and not appearing for the pension board vote. So we will start using that tool immediately. To your direct question, I haven't given that consideration yet. Well, I mean, these are legal matters, and we obviously are anticipating litigation later today. So we're leaving much of that to the city attorney's office to handle since it is litigation.
Council resolution on asking for his resignation, a resolution by the council.
That may in fact be something that we do move forward with,
Why not
a resolution. And I'm optimistic that all of our colleagues will join our call to have the mayor resign, because I believe it's in the best interest of the city. And the more individuals that come forward and support that, I think that only helps the situation.
As far
Why
as
not
the
now,
legal exposure,
Todd?
As far as the legal exposure, how much is the city expected to be affected by it?
The exposure that we've had for our city has been awful. When you look at the news reports nationwide, coming back to, it's reminiscent of what we have worked so hard to turn the city around. When we think back to the financial scandals, Enron by the Sea, and all the work that we've done to not only put that behind us, but to say to the country that San Diego is back and that we are working together. Unfortunately, the mayor's actions have put us back into that situation on a national level where people are ridiculing the city of San Diego. The mayor can solve that. The mayor can resign.
You called his actions inexcusable, and yet all we have at this point are allegations and accusations. We have no official complaints filed. We have no criminal complaints filed. What information, additional information do you have to add to this conversation to say that he has done something that is an offense that's worthy of his resignation?
I believe the mayor's own words speak volumes and speak very loudly. When the mayor said that his behavior is wrong, when the mayor said that he has disrespected women, when the mayor said that he has intimidated women, when the mayor told a local media outlet last week that there's a monster inside him, it is time for him to go.
That said, and I don't know if you guys meant to schedule this press conference right before the Gloria Alvarez. She's putting a face on these accusations now. What's your reaction to that? I know you guys already called him to resign, but what about now? What happens now that these allegations actually have a face?
We'll refer that question to our city attorney's office since Ms. Allred appears to intend to sue the city. What I would say is that it's my belief and expectation that this is just another chapter and many more to come in this saga. And that's why you see us asking the mayor to step down to stop this growing liability to taxpayers and help us get past this quicker. But any questions on litigation should be referred to the city attorney's office.
You both mentioned that there were other scandals. You talked about Paris, you talked about the Sunroad and how he's handled developers. How have you had any issue getting information from the mayor? I mean, with the Paris trip, he promised a month ago that he would tell us who paid for it.
The question, have we had trouble having information coming out of the mayor's office? The answer is yes. That's why I had to author a memo that I think many of you saw on Friday, calling for specific answers on how the Paris trip was funded. Were city rules followed? Were they broken? This is an issue that we had before the audit committee last year. Our independent city auditor did an entire audit on the use of city credit cards. So I'm very concerned about that. We deserve an explanation. These are taxpayer dollars that are at stake. I've asked for that information to be delivered to me by the end of this coming week.
Wouldn't a resolution by the entire council carry a lot more teeth than individual press conferences? And why hasn't one come forward? You kind of alluded to a timing issue. What's the timing issue?
Well, I think what we're hoping is the mayor can do what's right for the city and just choose to resign. If the council chose to do that, we may choose to do that. But it's important to me that we make very clear that it's just the right thing to do for the city. And Mitch, if I can go back to your question, every second that Kevin, myself, and the other council members spend having to get information on these ongoing scandals is time spent not addressing our roads, not addressing water security or sustainability, all the issues that San Diegans want us to focus on. We have to spend time doing this. So we can do both. I think the council can walk and chew gum at the same time. But the fact is that this is taking critical attention away from the issues that affect San Diego families. That's why the mayor must resign.
If he chooses to resign, that's easy off. Let's say he doesn't. Can you break that down for those who are watching in terms of dollars?
Well, I think, it would, in terms of the legal liability, each of these cases will require some taxpayer money to settle, if that's what it comes to. You can look at some other past experiences we've had with personnel issues that do cost thousands and thousands of dollars. You had the Anthony Arevalos case from the police department with allegations of sexual misconduct that ended up costing more than $1 million, I think closer to $2 million. These are the kinds of things that we're exposed to now because of what's already happened. What I'm interested in is making sure that we stop this as quickly as possible, prevent the growth of the liability so that we protect taxpayers going forward.
Todd, have you had a conversation with Mayor Filner about resigning? If so, can you characterize that conversation?
I have not.
No personal, just met by memo.
What has been your contact with him in the past couple of weeks?
Minimal. Non-existent.
Is that an issue when you guys aren't talking to the mayor and vice versa?
I mean, he's the CEO, so to speak. You're the legislature.
Well, of course.
That happens all the time in Washington where they don't necessarily talk to the president. Why is that an issue?
Of course it's an issue, Ed. And of course it's an issue that the mayor hasn't been out here talking to you all and answering your questions and being direct and open and honest. That's a problem, and it's a real problem for us. But as we've said today here, in hopefully the strongest possible terms, that we are united. We are going to work together in a bipartisan fashion to ensure that we do our very best in these very, very difficult times. But the person who can change that is the mayor. That's why we want him to resign and do what's best for the city of San Diego.
Have you guys also reached out to him and been reached a shut door? Is that what you get, the same thing, or have you not reached out to him?
I mean, the last time I saw the mayor was at closed session last Tuesday. We didn't speak. That's been about our relationship for a while now. And that's our point, is that the dysfunction that's happening here is occurring in a way that is not good for the citizens. And, we have put in requests for information. You saw me last Wednesday at our budget committee asking for information relative to the changes in Balboa Park. I'd issued 2 memos previously, got no response, asking those questions in a public hearing. I finally got a memo, I believe today. It's inadequate, it's not sufficient to answer the questions of my constituents. And this is the kind of competency issues that I'm concerned about with regard to running the 8th largest city in the country. And that's why we need to see real change here. But
here is that there is total dysfunction in the city. He doesn't speak to John Goldman, the city attorney, and he doesn't speak to you guys either.
Well, he doesn't speak to you either. There you go. Last question.
Did you hear Mr. Filner say that he was innocent? And do you have any evidence yourselves or Donna Fry witnessing or actually being an object of his sexual harassment?
What I witnessed was the mayor's own admission that he has had a lack of full respect for women, that he needed to change his call for taking a sexual harassment course, his need to get help, his admission that he has a monster within him. all of these statements are his own statements, not mine, not Donna Fry, not anyone else's. It's his own. And I hope that the mayor does seek help. I believe he needs it. But he cannot do that and run the city at the same time. That's why he must resign.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.